everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Wasteland Watchlist here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my weekly show where my guests and I play a little bit of movie roulette and randomly select a film from my enormous watch list. And it could be literally anything over the course of over 100 plus years, feature films, documentaries, short films, anything. And joining me is my frequent collaborator and friend. We have Adam, another one of our hosts at the SPM Crew Podcasting Network. Thank you, Adam, for coming on.
Thanks once again. Thanks for having me. Always happy to be here with you, Shane.
And we will be talking about The President's Lady. And this came out in 1953, and our little synopsis here. The story of President Andrew Jackson from his early years. The film begins with when he meets Rachel Donaldson Robards. The plot concentrates on the scandal concerning the legality of their marriage and how they overcame the difficulties. So here's a little background. This was released on May 21st, 1953. It runs about 97 minutes. The budget was $1.475 million, and it only made $1.35 million. Directed by Henry Levin, starring Charlton Heston and Susan Hayward. Adapted from the 1951 novel by Irving Stone, based on President Jackson and his marriage to Rachel Donaldson Robards, as we just discussed in the synopsis. This was indeed an Oscar-nominated film for both costume
Wow.
design and art direction.
Okay.
And Heston portrayed Andrew Jackson yet again in 1958's The Buccaneer. But Adam, what were your general thoughts on the President's Lady?
Well, I'm Australian, so a plot synopsis for a film hasn't disinterested me more than this one probably ever. I don't remember being so
To be fair,
disinterested.
I'm like, why did he make this movie? Like,
Yeah, it's an
honestly.
interesting. It is an interesting thing to focus on for Andrew Jackson. Like,
Mm,
is because he may or may not have been legally married to this woman is basically the point of it, and it is narrated by her. It is told from her point of view,
yep.
because she is. I really am bad. I don't remember the actress's name.
Susan
Susan
Hayward.
Hayward.
Yep.
Yeah, she was obviously the central piece of this. So Charlton just comes in with his classic cadence and
Yep.
whatnot. He's yeah. My general thoughts are that it's actually not bad. It surprised me how much I wasn't totally bored by it. It's kind of interesting as it moves along. It's pretty well made, but it is definitely a movie of its time, and very much about its time because there is, I mean, in 2025, some troublesome aspects of this film. But again, it's a film made in the 50s about the late 1700s, early 1800s. So, you've got to lighten up a bit if you're going to be too upset if you do watch this and some of the things you see.
Yeah. My initial thoughts, like I mentioned, are like, why this? Like, it's such an
Mm,
interesting thing to focus on for Andrew Jackson's life because this to get a
absolutely.
little context, he is not particularly well regarded as a president. And also, especially in more recent, like looking back, he was a big part of atrocities against Native American people here. So
Yes, he
and
was.
they
Yeah.
sugarcoated that
They took pride
real
in it.
quick.
If anything, yeah, they took pride in it, like how many people they killed.
Well, and he did very much so. And I love,
Mm,
and it was indeed true that he adopted a Native American child who did
yes.
die young. And
Mm,
I just love that spin where he's just like, well, I figured we took enough of their lives. I might as
yeah.
well save one. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Andrew Jackson definitely didn't feel that way. It's like this is
No.
this gives me American Sniper vibes. And
Oh
if you're
yeah.
looking at this movie to be an accurate representation of the person that it is,
Gotcha.
you're probably gonna not like it. This movie really like did it need to be necessarily Andrew Jackson? No, it's more of like it's just focusing on this love story and it
Hmm.
has complexities to it. And if you look at it from that perspective, pacing wise, I thought it was weird because like half the movie is a very specific time, the first half, and then it
Yeah.
like speed runs like
Mm.
decades of their
It
life.
really does. Yeah, it does. The
And
yada
then
yada's quite a bit.
he just wanted to get Charlton Heston in old man makeup, like
Yeah,
Andrew
yeah,
Jackson.
yeah.
And it's just so pacing wise, I was much more engaged with the first half of the movie where it was like
Hmm.
actually focusing on this story before it just started like time jumping. Because
Yeah.
I think halfway through it's like, oh crap, we're making a biography. We gotta get through the rest of his life. I think this film really rides on, yes, it's well made, and I like, are they safe picks? Probably, but like the Oscar nominations are well deserved. The costuming and
Yeah,
the production design are well done.
definitely.
It's
Yep.
just, the Academy just loves period pieces. They just
Hmm.
love that idea of nominating period pieces.
Yeah, yeah.
So that makes sense. I do really like Charlton Heston and Susan Hayward. I think they have great chemistry together. I think they're, well, Charlton Heston's my favorite actor, so like I'll
Yeah.
watch Charlton Heston do whatever. But the two of them are legitimately interesting figures in this movie. It's just I finished watching the film, I'm like, you know what? That was fine. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna watch this movie ever again, probably. I don't imagine
Yep.
so. Um, but you know, the two leading performance engaged me enough, and there was some scenes where like they were getting shot at on like the boat. That was a pretty thrilling
Uh,
scene towards the
yeah,
beginning.
there were some good action bits, definitely.
And then later in the film where they had that big public outcry and conflict, like there was some real
Yes.
tension there. So
Yeah.
overall, I don't get why you would make this movie, but they did, and they made it well with two charismatic leads and some memorable scenes. It's
Mm.
just, and that's it. At the end of the day, I think it worked relatively well for what they were trying to do. And like this is definitely not like an all-time classic film, but I could definitely see people eating this up at the time, which is interesting because they didn't, because it didn't make money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I agree with everything you've just said, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, it is, it flows well enough to keep it interesting despite its synopsis and the subject matter. But yeah, and Charlton and Susan, yeah, they're great. Are actually great together. Like there is some type of, feels like genuine chemistry there. I kind of
unlike
did
your
like the
husband.
scene. Yeah, yeah. Like that was such a weird relationship. Like he was obviously having an affair with one of the slaves that he brought and was trying to ship her off, and then she knew about it, was not hiding it really, but and she was just like, "Now screw you, Jack. I'm going off with this guy." And then there's another part, a bit maybe in the middle of the film, where a guy says, there he's in the general store, and the guy just says something like a troll wouldn't. Basically, there's just this
Hmm.
big fist fight in the general store. It's great because he beat the hell out of that dude. Like, so Andrew Jackson obviously was a bit of an aggressor, obviously.
Yeah, he was a rough and tumble kind of person.
That's the
He
words for the
well,
time. Yeah.
and he very much was not a politician. Like, to
Mm,
be honest,
mm.
he's kind of like the Trump of that era, where like he
Yeah.
did not fit the bill for what you
Yeah.
would expect out of a national leader. Like he that like notoriously, like they had crazy shindigs at the White House with liquor and all kinds of stuff
All
like
right.
that. So like he was very much like a blue collar
Mm-hmm.
from the country kind of person. And also, why the hell would you pick a fight with Charlton Heston? Chuck's gonna knock you out. That's exactly what happened to that guy.
Yeah, he got smashed. Like he was just, and yeah, he wouldn't, didn't stop. He was just beating the hell out of him. He was like, he's not worth killing. He's not worth your time killing. I was like, well, is anyone worth your time killing? Like there was some weird concepts, and surprised that I didn't. Because obviously, I don't know much about old American presidents, but he seemed pretty old when he was actually finally elected. Yeah, I mean, in the movie, he
That's an
was.
interesting question. When? Andrew Jackson. It's like he was 45. That was a hard 45.
Yeah, 45. Was that right?
Well, no, I'm making a joke. I'm in the
Oh,
process
right.
of looking
Sorry.
up.
Okay, gotcha.
So let's see. He was born in 1767, in office 1829.
Okay.
So 33 plus
62.
29. Yeah. Well, I guess
Yeah,
that was
that
all
seemed
really
about
old
right.
for them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
they didn't age well back then. And yeah, he was
Didn't even in
president
the
for two
80s.
whole terms.
I love seeing that photo of Wilfred Brimley from Cocoon or something when he's like in his 40s and he looks like he's 700. It's like, it's weird as hell.
There's certain actors that just like Patrick Stewart's one of them. It's like, was he ever
Yeah.
young looking? And then he just stopped.
Yeah.
Then he just
Yes.
stopped aging and then just looked the
Yeah.
same. Steve Martin's
It's,
one of them. It's just like he
there's an
went
actor I
gray
was
early. But no,
Oh, there was
it's
an actor I was watching recently, and sorry, this gets us off topic, but
yeah.
Albert Finney, watching Albert Finney when he was young, I don't even recognize it's the same person. I've seen a couple of his films when he's younger, and I'm like, that's not Albert Finney. And there's just certain aspects that come across in his voice that go,
What was it?
okay, I can see that being Albert Finney.
Saturday night, Sunday morning, and Tom Jones
Mm,
were a couple of him being really young. I'm like, look
yeah,
at this asshole looking charming as hell as a young man.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
he turns into the Albert Finney that like
That we know and
yeah.
love. Yeah, I watched one with him and Audrey Hepburn called Two for the Road.
Okay.
I didn't even barely recognize him at all. Like I kind of had to double, triple check that this was Albert Finney.
It's all in the timbre of the voice. It's just like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
hear it
Well,
and you're just like,
but that's the thing. It's not always. It's sometimes like, yeah, he'll say something and you go, okay, that's Albert Finney. But most of the other times it's just not him. And because I didn't even realize he was British for either. I actually thought he was just American anyway. So that's kind of put me off
interesting.
as well. Yeah.
But like the interesting thing of like Charlton Heston was definitely one of those actors that like
Mm. He's got a
he
great
said
cadence to his
that
voice.
the gritted teeth. And I'm just
Yeah.
every time I think of Ben Hur, he's just like my son. And it's just like, oh my god, he's gonna murder this man. But
He's
now
got that shit-eating grin all the time too, right? He's got
uh,
that Cheshire cat smile.
I think personality wise was such a genius pick to play Andrew Jackson because
Hmm.
I think he definitely gave that kind of vibe. Like he
Yeah.
seemed like the kind of person that like how Heston played him was like this guy's gonna go off the handle at any moment. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah,
did.
yeah. He's
And people
unhinged.
kept
Yeah.
trolling him through this whole movie after the two of them
Yeah,
got together.
they
And it's just
did.
like somebody's gonna die in one of these fights eventually.
Was he the Russell Crowe of the time? Like just always
Oh, he
just
might
waiting to
be.
snap?
I
Ready to
can
snap.
actually kind of see that because
Yeah.
you know what I did. What if William Wyler directed Gladiator?
Oh, okay.
I did that with my buddy Griff, and I cast Charlton Heston as Maximus because like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's that vibe. So
Absolutely. That's well
yeah,
cast.
if you're looking for like if you really like Charlton Heston, this is another like quality like him just he has that presence. He has that movie star
Mm,
presence that just works. And he
mm.
makes I think him and Susan Hayward make the most of this. But overall, I thought it was a fine film. If you're
Yeah.
interested in checking out something new, it's there. It's on Amazon. Check it out. But Adam, any final thoughts on The President's Lady?
Uh, yeah, look, I mean, I wouldn't not recommend it, but I'm also in the market, in the spot of n not recommending it either. Like, I mean, it's an enjoyable watch, but it's just depends if you want, if you enjoy the subject matter or not. If the synopsis grabs you, definitely watch it.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea for historical romance for sure that
Mm,
they chose to
yeah,
tell this story. But those are our thoughts on The President's Lady. Let us know what you think and make sure to comment, and share this episode. What's your favorite Charlton Heston film? Have you watched more than just Ben-Hur and or especially the Ten Commandments Easter every single year growing up, because that was my life. But make sure to also follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. The SPM Crew Podcasting Network is expanding. We have some new shows. We got Tolkien on tap. We have some new music shows and others coming along the way. And we're always looking for guests. And apparently, people love this show. So if you want to join, contact SPM Crew. And if you like our logo, check out High Fly Creative. They do some great work and can help with any of your digital marketing needs. But most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Wasteland Watchlist here at the SPM Crew Podcasting Network.